Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Maria, and this channel is about spirituality. Welcome, welcome. Please subscribe to see more content like this. Today, we're going to be talking about meditation, some of the tricks that I love to use, certain things that I know you guys may be worrying about. So, yeah, just a very general meditation episode. I know a lot of people are meditating with apps like Headspace or Calm, and that is wonderful. I know a lot of you love guided meditations. I have a whole podcast dedicated to it and even a YouTube channel dedicated to it called Our Sacred Universe. So if you're meditating with me, you're awesome. However, this episode goes above and beyond guided meditations. I find that at some point, if you go deeper on your meditation journey, you're going to get so much guidance from spirit that every single meditation that you do is going to be custom made for you. You're not going to have to down the road use guided meditations and guided healing journeys. However, that is not a one day type of trip, it is a whole arc of progression. So, yeah, today I just want to give you some options. If you didn't want to just meditate on your breath, for instance, and if you didn't want to go a guided meditation option, what are the things that you could do to keep your meditation life as relevant to what's going on with you as possible? So, when I started meditating post my awakening not too long ago, back in 2018. At first, I started with the regular apps, and that just didn't do it for me because I felt like just quieting down my mind was such an absolute basic that I was, to be honest, very bored. I don't know how you guys feel about apps like Headspace. I'm actually, nothing against them. I think that that's a wonderful tool to get people into meditation. I just find that you graduate from apps like that fairly quickly. So my next step in my meditation journey was doing all kinds of energy exercises. That was my step 2. So energy exercises, for example, I would love doing cleansing exercises in the morning and at night. And I would call it the waterfall exercise. And I would literally imagine standing under the waterfall of white light and allowing it to wash away all the schmuck and the dirt and the toxins away from my body. And I would do it in the morning and I would do it at night. And that is what really helped me establish my meditation routine. It did help me raise my vibrations. So I noticed that through just the act of daily cleansing, I started becoming a lot more connected to my higher self. All of my higher chakras opened up. I was able to process my emotions a lot better. And I was able to become a lot more resilient to life. Literally, the moment I started doing these daily cleanses, I noticed that I can hold stress a lot better. I can, the way I respond to adversity and challenges and problems in life really, really shifted. So you really go into this very interesting Zen state. Thanks to simple things like that. I used to also, in the early days, do all kinds of protection exercises for myself. So I would do the waterfall, and I would do a protection sacred geometry shape, something along the lines of either a pyramid of white light, or I would do triple spheres. So I would imagine that my body is surrounded by 3 spheres. The inner sphere is white, then there's blue, and then there's gold. So all kinds of protective spheres. And, on the one hand, feeling like you always have to protect yourself from the universe, perhaps is sending the wrong codes to the universe, because I'm the biggest proponent in trusting your universe. However, we are living in a society, we are a herd species, and enough of us are empaths. That's a whole other story. And so sometimes we do need that extra layer of protection when we are working with people, when we are around people, when we are going into crowded places, to help us preserve a little bit of our inner peace. That was the time when I lived in New York City. New York City, used to be the love of my life. Now it's a little too low vibration for me. It's very New York lives in the yellow chakra too much, and I'm beyond that in life. And so, if you do live in crowded cities, setting some energy protections just to preserve your auric field, especially if you are on the way to, working with the higher chakras and working with spirit. That may be a good place to start. Then from there, I started working with crystals. And the reason I'm telling you my personal journey is because I think that some of you, for whatever reason, need to hear this. I used to use this religiously. I have my bag of crystals, specifically for meditation purposes. It's this guy right here. Inside, I have accumulated little baby crystals. I'm not going to show you every single one, but from opalite to charoite to amazonite. Like I have like a bunch here. This is the sunstone, turquoise. Like I have this there are about 30 crystals in there. I cannot quite show you the entirety of it. Like, hey, if you want to see my collection of crystals, do let me know. If you want me to make a video about crystals, do let me know. But that might be a very long video because I think just in this room alone where I'm filming, I have probably like 60 crystals. So I don't know. So here's what I'm telling you about the crystals. Crystals are actually really, really good. And that was the first time when I started branching out into my personal flavor of meditation. So first things first. So when I would meditate, I would always use like this little baby crystal quartz pillar, and I would put it right here on my third eye. Just obviously have to make sure that this is clean, right? If your crystal is not clean, put it in salt overnight and it's going to be fine. You could also sage it or put it in the direct sun for about 45 minutes. So you would place it in your third eye. Crystal quartz really helps focus the energies. It really helps bring in the energies from higher spheres, and it helps enhance the communication from your spirit guides. So if your spirit guides is sending anything down the chain, this bad boy is going to really, really help accelerate. So I would always use this one. What about the baby ones? All of the rest of the crystals are very charged. Like they have like a very, they're all of them are colored. And I wanted to make sure that inside of my meditation bag, I had crystals of like every kind of energy connecting to every chakra. Like I'm just showing you a few different ones that I have. And here's what I would do. There's a reason why I have a bag. So every morning when I would meditate, I would connect with my spirit guides and the universe and ask them to lead me to the crystal that has the message for me. And then I would like literally drop my hand inside of this little baggie and pull a crystal. And like, for instance, labradorite, right? And then whatever I pull, I would place it on my heart, on my higher heart or my lower heart, or I would hold it in my palm and I would meditate. And I noticed that this really helps with journeying in a meditative state. So the crystal could be like a guide in and of itself. Now, naturally, crystals retain a lot of information. They are in some ways better than water because rocks just in general experience existence very differently. Time moves slower for them in some cases. And they're just able to retain information probably the best out of any medium. And so depending on where this crystal has been, it has absorbed a lot of the information from that area of the universe or the world. And it has so much to share. And so I noticed that every time I invited the little crystals into my meditative space, every time it was a different journey because every time I did it with a different crystal. Later, I started mixing crystals. Like if I didn't feel like this one was enough, I would draw like a couple, and then I would get a feel for them. I'd be like, okay, well, this one is obsidian, this one is labradorite. Like, do I feel like they're bodies or not? Like I would sense in, whether they would be good together. And, if they felt like they wanted to play ball together, then I would like place them in the different palms and like there would be like a connected stream of energy, and like then the two crystals would dictate what my meditation was like. So there was like a whole time when I religiously meditated with crystals. I don't do that anymore because I feel like there's so much going on without crystals, you guys, that honestly, I don't, at this point, I don't require their assistance as much as I love them. I still have a ton of them in my house. And, if if I need healing, a particular type of healing, I would definitely use a crystal. Yeah. Never mind, I wanted to show you one crystal, but it ran away somewhere because I was recently working with my throat area because I'm talking a lot lately. And so I really wanted to heal that. So I still use crystals, just not for meditative purposes. On that note, that next step was me meeting my dragon in the etheric realm. One of my spirit guides is a white dragon. He's amazing. He opened up meditation for me, like for real. So dragons are really, really good with portals. Dragons are incredible beings that transcend dimensions. And as such, they can customize your meditative space for you. So it kind of started with me meeting my dragon and understanding who he is. He's a male. How far our soul connection, how deep our soul connection goes. And then for about 6 months to 9 months, every single time I went into a meditation, I met with my dragon first, and then he would take me through portals. And these portals were into distant realms, he would take me to sacred spaces, he would take me to healing chambers, he would take me to temples, he would take me everywhere. And you can find that, there are other spirit animals that can do that for you. Some of your spirit animals can do that. Phoenix birds are really good like that. Unicorns are really, really good like that. You can get yourself an angel, a guardian. All of these beings can help customize meditative spaces for you. And every single time, it's a beautiful thing to be guided by your guides, no pun intended, because that experience is extremely custom to you every single time. Granted, even if you're doing guided meditations, you're still aligning with a particular type of content because you need to see, feel, hear whatever that guide, like whatever that person who's channeled this information, wherever that person is leading you, you need to go there. However, there's no such thing as being in your own custom bespoke space. And so dragon is one way I found of getting there. Another thing you can try is portals, so portal magic. So when you would get into a meditative state, you would imagine you're standing in a pillar of white light. And as you're standing in the pillar of white light, you may have a request from the universe, but I usually let the universe do the talking and I let the universe do the driving. I don't like getting in the way of the universe because the universe knows best and I'm in my limited perspective. My perspective is definitely more limited than that of the universe, and I'm very well aware. And so I just trust that universe has my back. And so you would feel like you're being sucked into a portal, either up or down. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes you get sucked into a portal that like goes sideways but mostly it's up. For me. And so you would feel like you're going through a portal of light and then you're being transplanted somewhere. You're being planted somewhere in, another reality, another dimension next to your spirit guide, Himalayas, what have you. And, that is where your custom experience really begins. And this is where you need to trust. Just trust the experience because certain things may not make sense. As you're just starting to go through these experiences, sometimes it feels like you're making things up. I promise you're not. It's just you're new to this. The more you work with your third eye, the better you are going to be at receiving these types of experiences, right? Because all of these movies, all of these wonderful guided journeys are going to unfold in front of your eyes, but you need to be able to receive. So working with your third eye, can never go wrong with that. There are other tricks that you could do in order to open up the portal, the doorway, or almost like to invite the universe to co-create a meditation with you. Another trick that you can leverage is imagining, like when you're closing your eyes and starting to meditate, imagining that you're walking down a path and the path is leading you places. And as you're walking down the path, you may like turn left to right, or make certain turns, and you would notice that the scenery changes, and that is almost like your guided meditation. Another thing that you can do is exploring a castle. It could be your familial castle, like one of your lineages. It could be the castle of your higher self. Exploring the castle of your higher self, you guys, you can probably spend a year just doing that because it has access to your past lives, future lives, present lives, your soul family, things that you do outside of incarnating. It's quite fascinating. And the way that you would essentially imagine there's a castle of light, usually it is literally just hanging in the sky. It's really suspended in midair, to be honest. And then you would imagine yourself at the very ground level or the very top level. You can start from the top or start from the bottom. And very often with familial houses, it's a bunch of different rooms. Or the castle of your higher self. It's a bunch of different rooms and hallways. And so you really migrate from hallway to hallway, room to room, exploring. What's really interesting is all of your strengths as a soul, as a spirit, are going to be located here. So every time you go through a corridor and there are all these doors on both sides of you, you could start opening doors and exploring. And there are all kinds of things in there. There are libraries that give you access to the Akashic records. There are spirit animal dens, spirit plants that you have. They may give you like prophetic dreamscapes. They may give you portals into fairy, etc., etc. There's just like such a beautiful world to explore. So I highly, highly encourage you, if you haven't really branched out on your meditations, if you don't yet allow spirit to guide you, you're vastly missing out, you guys, because I find that there's so much more to meditation than just quieting down your mind. Granted, most people don't even, like the ones that don't meditate don't even experience stillness. But there's so much in that world beyond. There's so much guidance too. I often notice that my guides, for instance, know what I need way better than I do. And very often they would send me to a healing space and would perform all kinds of treatments on my etheric body, emotional, mental as well. They may accidentally take you to, I don't know, like a spirit surgery room. Sounds really bad. It doesn't hurt. But sometimes we need spiritual surgery. It is when we've really been running on all fronts and we've been burning the candle at both ends and we really just need a detox. One type of things that you can explore is asking the universe to take you to a healing space. And there are so many. There are thousands of healing temples, thousands of healing spaces in the universe. They're working with all kinds of different energies, from the element of water to air to ice, to plasma to mercury, sulfur, you name it. You may also direct your meditations. That is requires a certain level of sophistication. For instance, when you want to do travel to distant worlds, you may voice an intention. Hey, today I want to go to planet Venus, or today I want to go to the Pleiades, and you would. It's not dissimilar in some ways to past life regression. Only instead of regressing into past life, you are portaling into another dimension and another star system. A couple more things. I know that some of you still feel like you cannot get behind or beyond the mental chatter. Mental chatter is annoying in meditation. And the reason it is annoying is because it is blocking your pathway up. So in order for you to be able to communicate with your higher self or guides or source or anybody upstairs, I call them upstairs because they're more high vibrational than we are here, you need to make sure that your energy is able to move through from one chakra to the next unobstructed, that it doesn't really meet too many impediments on the way up. And here's a challenge. If your mental clutter, imagine your mental clutter was a cloud, because it's kind of looks like it, only a very, very thick, dense cloud. If your energy is trying to go up, remember Kundalini rising? If your energy is trying to go up, but then there's this cloud, and the energy in the cloud, thoughts travel sideways. So they travel like this. They're going to be traveling like this. If you're trying to go up, but then there's all this traffic going this way, it's kind of like the cars, right? If the cars are driving this way, you're not going to be able to go up. And that is why a lot of people who are still dealing with mental chatter, they don't really experience good meditation. So here's what I suggest. So in a meditative state, you would be using your hands. First things first, you would imagine that, I'll be showing you what you need to do. You would do it with your eyes closed. You would imagine that you're taking your right hand like that and clearing away all the mental chatter. Literally, you would be clearing away with your hand all the mental chatter that has already been cluttering your mind. And then you would take the left hand and do the same thing. So you do this a few times. You can use your physical hands, you can use your etheric energy hands, doesn't really matter. And then, believe it or not, ears are channels that receive thought forms. And so you would want to imagine, if you're trying to get rid of mental clutter, that you're using earplugs, and mental earplugs. So you would imagine that your ears are plugged, and then you want to do this cleansing one more time, letting go of all the mental chatter. And then you would notice that once you do this a few times, up to 10, you would notice that there is space here. And once this feeling of space is achieved, you would notice that you're able to go up. And then things are able to come down. And then there are no more impediments, nothing. And so, the rest is really up to you. Once you're able to achieve this state, that is when your guides can come through and help you and guide you on a journey that is unique and specific to you. Yeah, the only other thing that I know enough of you notice when it as it relates to meditation is falling asleep. A lot of people are like, I can't meditate because I fall asleep. That is, number one, that is your sign that your body is chronically tired and your body is chronically not getting enough sleep. So if you're getting into meditative state and you literally fall asleep right away, that means that your body needs to rest. And it weighed the benefits of meditating and the benefits of sleeping. And it decided that you need sleep so much that the benefits of meditation are not going to begin to cut in. So your body sends you into a state. And so be well rested before attempting meditation. You cannot fool your body, because the moment your body goes into a relaxed mode, you're not going to be able to not fall asleep if you're really, really sleep deprived. Other things, right? But then either way, even if you get yourself to a point where you're not tired, if you go deep enough, especially if you start, going to remote places and like different lands, etc., you may start dozing off a little bit inadvertently. Maybe not all the time, but sometimes. And so the things that I find help for me, obviously you can do the meditation sitting down, and then you're less likely to fall asleep. But you can also set an alarm for yourself. I usually set an alarm for, every 25 minutes for my weekend meditations, because my weekend meditations are 2.5, 3 hours long. Please don't tell anyone, because this is like clearly a state secret. That's why I'm talking about it on YouTube. And so there are quite a few there are quite a few periods. I'm able to sneak in 25-minute stops in there quite a few times. Now, of course, if it is a work week, then I don't really set an alarm so much, because I don't have that much time. But these are just some of my tips. Please let me know if you have any other meditation related questions. I'm so happy to help you through this. Meditation has been such a tremendous unlock. It is such a wonderful tool that we all have access to. Meditation helps you lead a happier and more productive life, if that's the thing that you care about. And I wish everybody meditated. If I have a dream, or like if I could have it any way I want, I would love for every single human being to start meditating at least once a day. At least once a day. I'm not going to get greedy and be like twice a day. At least once a day. All right. I'm sending you so much love. And yeah, if you still are curious about checking out my guided meditations, there's no harm done. Sometimes it's fun to do, healing collective spaces. Again, my podcast is called Our Sacred Universe, and so is my YouTube channel for meditations. Check it out as well. Bye, you guys. I'll see you in the next one.